What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So, as you can see by the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be bringing y'all a very special build with over 100 badges, and we're going to be able to get every single contact dunk in the game. So, this build is going to be called the Glass Cleaning Lockdown. And also, remember, over 100 badges coming out of the center build. So, man, before we get any further into this, I just got to say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all as well for being here for me, showing y'all support, showing out every single time. But also, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family RGF, go ahead and turn on post notifications, but just be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. Let's go ahead and get 50 likes on this banger. Be sure to share it with your family and friends, and now let's go ahead and get into the making of this build, y'all. So, of course, if you were paying attention, the very first thing that we gotta go ahead and do is put this build under the center position. Now, when it comes down to the height, weight, and wingspan, I decided to go with 6'10" in order to get the standing dunk contact dunks. Then, when it comes down to the weight, I'm going to go with 215. Wingspan is going to be 7'8", and right there, everything is going to be perfect. Now, as you can see, when it comes down to these stats, just please be sure that y'all follow along exactly as I show y'all. I don't want you to make any mistakes. I want you to be able to get the same exact build name that I do. So now, let's go ahead and get right into it. When it comes down to the close shot, we're going to go with an 86. Driving layup, put it to an 80. That's going to get you all the layup packages that you want. Driving dunk must be an 84. And then when it comes down to the standing dunk, go ahead and put this to a 91. And everything right here is going to be perfect. Now, right here, we got 27 badges. And honestly, the ones that we do unlock are going to be very solid. Remember, we're still going to adjust the vertical later on. So do not worry about that in order to get the contact dunks. But when it comes down to the shooting, mid-range shot gonna go up to an 80. You could go with an 81 if you want to, just to get a different badge change. But when it comes down to the three-point shot, go ahead and put this to a 76, and right there, everything is going to work out. We're gonna end up with 21 badges for the shooting, 27 for the finishing. So far, it is looking really nice on paper when it comes down to these badges. But now, let's go ahead and just take it a step further. From here, we're going to go ahead and get into the playmaking. This is a very versatile build, so I just want to be sure that y'all know that beforehand. Again, you can always make your own adjustments, but the way that I'm making it is honestly going to be perfect. So right here, playmaking, we're going to go with the pass accuracy of 67, ball handle 73, and a speed with ball of 62. We're going to be able to get 15 playmaking badges right here. If you want to, you can go ahead and try to get more, but I'm telling you, right here how we have it, everything is going to work out perfect. We get 15 badges in total when it comes down to this, and honestly, a lot of bronze and silver badges are going to be able to be used here, especially when you look at what you're going to be able to do at 6'10" and a center. Now, let's go ahead and get into the best part about this build though, which is going to be the defense. So as you can see, what we're going to go ahead and do now, when it comes down to that interior defense, put this to an 80. When it comes down to the perimeter, put this to a 75. Now, when it comes down to the steal, here is where things get even better. We're actually going to go with a 68. Block, however, is going to go all the way up to a 97. And then when it gets into the rebounding, just be sure that you go ahead and put the offensive rebound up to an 83. And now when it comes down to the defensive, you want to go ahead and put this to an 86. You can actually go ahead and get more badges out of this build if you want to. But the way that I made it, I'm telling you, really works out perfectly when it comes down to wanting to get the contact dunks. But also on top of all that, remember, you're still going to be able to do a lot of different things that most center builds are not going to be able to do. For example, you're still going to be able to dribble, shoot, and then on top of all that, the defense is still there, being the best part about this build. Now, vertical must go with a 75. Max out your speed, acceleration, and strength, and then go ahead and put the rest into your stamina. Should end up at a 90. And right here, as you can see, again, we are still getting some really solid badges when all this is said and done. Now, again, just remember, You can always make your own adjustments to any type of build however you please, but as long as you like the setup that you got, everything is really going to work out in your favor. For me, I would just have to say, if I were to make any changes to this build, it probably would be to get more playmaking badges. But as far as when it comes down to the finishing, shooting, and defensive side, everything in this build has everything that you could possibly want. And that is honestly the main way that I did try to go about it making this build. I wanted to be able to make it the most versatile center possible, but also still being able to do everything that any other build is going to be able to accomplish. Now, as you can see, we get the sharpshooting takeover, also going to be getting the playmaking, rim protecting, and then finally the glass cleaning. Now, don't get me wrong, all of these are some really good options to pick from. It really just comes down to your preference and play style. For me, if you want to go ahead and be able to speed boost, you can go with the playmaking, or if you want to go ahead and double up on the defensive end, you definitely can go ahead and pick double from the paint intimidation and stuff blocks, or you could even go with probably paint intimidation, rim protecting takeover, and the glass cleaning. For me, I would say the shooting would be solid, but again, you can always make this based off of your own playstyle. I would have to say also, one that I really like when it comes down to the glass cleaning is See the Future Takeover. Really overpowered takeover to use for any kind of build. When it comes down to the second one, if you want a speed boost, like I said, I would go with the playmaking. But again, that is just based off of my preference. If you feel like going about this a different way, you definitely can, but just be sure to consider you're getting a +10 to whichever takeover you decide to pick. Now, there's no wrong way to go about this, but now let's go ahead and check out the build name. And as y'all can see, we have made the first ever glass cleaning lockdown with all of the contact dunks and the big man contact dunks, as well as being 6'10", a center build. I really like this one, especially with the comparisons. We got Anthony Davis, Bam, and then Cat. Now let's just go ahead and take a quick look at what this build is going to be looking like once we max it out. Now, when it comes to this part of the build, remember, we did pick the playmaking as well as the defensive takeover. So we're going to be getting a +10 to both of those areas, but just remember, you're going to be getting a +8 from running with teammates that have floor general on Hall of Fame as well as defensive leader, then bind boost, which is another +4, so +8 from the normal, then a +10 in takeover, so +18 in total. In takeover, you're going to be able to speed boost with this build. Then when it comes down to the defensive end, you're pretty much going to be able to get a 99 interior defense, 99 block, 99 offensive, as well as a defensive rebound. And then when it comes down to the shooting, if you decided to go with that takeover, your mid-range will be a 99. 3-point shot is going to be somewhere around a 95. And let's just go ahead and say you decided to go with double defensive takeovers. All of these stats are getting a huge boost, so you really just need to consider what these builds are going to be looking like once you max them out, because the potential of them is really overpowered once you activate your takeover. Now, I know a lot of people do not consider the +10 that you will be getting from your takeover, but again, that is just something that I see is more important than any other thing about the build, because it's really going to be able to take the build to the next level, especially if you know what you are doing with it. Now, let's just go ahead and end it off right here. We're going to go ahead and get into the badge setup. So what you want to go ahead and do to start it off is go with gold posterizer, and then from here, honestly, you need rise up as well as limitless takeoff. Now for me, I like to run silver fearless finisher. That's a really good badge to put on. From there, I'm also going to go ahead and put on slithery finisher. Now you can go ahead and change the setup if you want to, but I'm telling you, this is really going to be one of the best ways that you can go about it. I'm also going to go ahead and add in unstrippable on silver. Now remember, if you feel like going about this a different way, you definitely can do that, but for me, I would say this is the way that I like to do it. So let's go ahead and get into the shooting now. And remember, with this build, you're also going to be able to get +4 from your rebirth or the college championship. I'm just going to go ahead and say a +4 from your rebirth. Now, also remember, we're already in the 3rd season, so that's going to be a +3 badges, so +7 in total. Then on top of this being 100, really it's one of the best builds all around, especially when you look at the finishing side of things. But when it comes to the shooting, you also have everything that you need as well, especially with the amount of badges that we get for this kind of build. Now always feel free also to change anything about the setup when it comes down to the badges. But now let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. We got 15, so you really want to go ahead and put on the main ones, which are going to be triple threat juke, also handles for days, quick first step, tight handles, and then from there I'm gonna go with space creator. And then honestly, if you want to, you could go with downhill on silver and then bailout or bullet passer. Now let's go ahead and get into the last part of this build, which is actually gonna be the best part, the defense. So for me, I'm gonna go with intimidator as well as chase on artist. Now I really like to run rim protector. From there, it really comes down to what you like about this build, but for me, I'm gonna say I would go ahead and put on silver rebound chaser, Hall of Fame hustler if you want to go ahead and use the well, and then for the very last couple, if you want to, you can go with pogo stick or even box. That's another really good one. Honestly though, the rest of the way, I would honestly really consider spreading the wealth, or you can go with one Hall of Fame badge if you want to try it. I'm going to go ahead and leave that up to y'all, but this is a setup that I would be running. We're going to go ahead and end it off with 32 defensive badges, 15 playmaking, 21 shooting, and then 27 finishing. Again, man, I just got to say thank God for giving me this opportunity, this platform. Thank y'all for the support. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I got bangers lined up this weekend. So, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, go ahead and turn on post notifications, but also be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. I would appreciate it if we could get at least 50 likes on this video. Be sure to share with your family and friends. And last but not least, with all that being said, man, thank God and Rich out.